inspection requires the discretion of the court. The guiding principle is that in all cases in which a court makes an order for discovery, it is a matter of discretion and not as of right. In the ordinary way, where there are issues of facts between the parties, the court will generally make such an order. However, in the instant case, the applicant has not raised any issue that he has no copies of the documents of the subject of this application. In view of the fact that the proceedings so far shows the petitioner has copies of all the documents, the subject of this application, we are of the opinion that no proper case has been made before us to warrant the exercise of our discretion in favor of the applicant. Order 21 Rule 9 of CI 47, which is the basis of this application, should not be read in isolation. It should be read in conjunction with Rule 11 of the said order. It states thus: an order for the production of any document for inspection or to the court shall not be made under any of these rules unless the court is of opinion that the order is necessary either to dispose fairly the cause or matter or to save cost. End of quote. Furthermore, Section 166 of the Evidence Act, NRCD 323 of 1975, makes it clear that the same extent as the original, unless a genuine question is raised as to authenticity of the original of the duplicate. No issue has been raised against the authenticity of the duplicates in possession of the applicant. The discrepancies which learned counsel for the petitioner has alluded to in his submissions as having occurred in the declaration of 9th December 2020, the press release of 10th December 2020, and the answer and witness statement of the first respondent are issues of evidence and do not give cause for discovery of the documents under consideration. From the above reasons, the application is dismissed.
As the court pleases. We are grateful to the court.
My lords, we are most grateful.
My lords, there is a matter in respect of a health situation affecting a potential witness, which we have indicated to my learned friends on the other side, we would like to have considered by your lordships in camera, if it is possible, because of the confidentiality concerns. And we would be able to provide some details to your lordships accordingly, if that is permissible to your lordships.
Counsel, did he provide any witness statement on record?
My lord, in fact, the non-provision of a witness statement itself will be explained.
Oh, please, it's a court of record.
Yes, my lord, that is why I said that the circumstances relate to a health situation which have made it impossible to get a witness statement as of now, as we speak. We have been in touch not only with the potential witness, but with his medical, and that's why I said that because of the confidentiality, if you allow us to grant you full information, then you may exercise your discretion as you wish to direct us, and we can proceed accordingly. We're not, if your lordships will not entertain the matter, we will abide by your powers. Let me be clear that what we agreed is that we would put it before you in detail in chambers. We have not, yes, that's it.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, my lords, exactly what the situation is that this morning, learned counsel for the
Don't go to the details.
No, I'm not, no, my lord. No, my lords, I was not going to go into any details. I was just going to say exactly what he told us this morning. What he told us this morning was that there's an issue that he wants to raise with the court in chambers. He doesn't want to take us by surprise. So he was just mentioning exactly that there's an issue. That's all.
About the witness?
Yes.
These are
all rise.
the court has gone into chambers to listen to a matter that was proposed by lead counsel for the petitioner, Mr. Chachu Chikata. And before then, of course, there was that application by the petitioner's lawyers to be allowed by the court to inspect some documents from the EC throughout the morning. Mr. Chachu Chikata, lead counsel for the petitioner, was making a case to be allowed to, as it were, inspect those documents from the EC. But again, there was objection from lawyers of the respondents, the first respondent and the second respondent. And after that, the court went into recess to take a decision. When they arrived, the decision was that the EC, the petitioner would not be allowed to inspect the EC's documents. This is by way of summary, but for the details, I will be joined by my colleague Edward Nyakon, who has been in court since morning to give us the details. So, Edward, what is clear is that throughout the morning, we have been considering, we've been seeing in court arguments by all sides. The petitioner's lawyers try to advance an argument in support of their application to be allowed to inspect certain documents from the EC. We heard the opposition and the objection from the two respondents, the first and second respondents, and we've also seen and heard of the decision the court arrived at, which is that they will not allow the application to proceed. But you were in court, you have the details, exactly what happened.
Yes, the petitioner yesterday, as we came to court, filed a motion for an inspection of documents in the possession of the EC, because according to Mr. Chachu Chikata, the counsel for the petitioner, the declaration that was made on the 9th of December, those numbers that were put out there, to them, there's a need for those numbers to be looked at again, because to them, according to them, as of now, they are not certain of the exact figures that were used to declare the winner of the election. So they are pleading or praying the court to make available those documents.
Right.
And then he cited issues like fairness. So he quoted Article 1913 of the 1990 Constitution, that in pursuant of fairness, it would be good for the court to allow them to have access to those documents. Then he also talked about the fact that during the 2013 election petition, though JSC Ajinya indicated that the carbon copy of whatever they have is just same as what is there. But the key thing Mr. Chachu Chikata raised was that in that instance, they had come to court with some numbers and some carbon copies, but they have not come to court with any carbon copy because they don't have the figures. So they are praying the court to release those, ask the EC to release those documents to them. Then came in the counsel for the first respondent, Justice Mr. Amanuvo, and he indicated that one, the time. He talked about the time should be, according to him, the time should be within 21 days, or in the 34th day of this trial, and therefore that time has elapsed for them to be asking for this document. Then he also indicated that the argument being put forward by Mr. Chachu Chikata doesn't hold, in the sense that the 2013 one is a clear example. And then came in Mr. Akoto-Ampao, the counsel for the second respondent, also emphasizing that the burden of persuasion, these are the words he used, and burden of proof, lies on the petitioner's counsel, and therefore to him, he used the words, they are trying to conjure away that responsibility, which one of the judges, I think the Chief Justice drew his attention to, but he insisted that, look, what he's trying to say is in line. So with this back and forth argument, the court went to chambers and came back and declared unanimously that what transpired in 2013, and again, they will not be able to produce enough evidence to warrant this demand for these documents, and therefore
the court also made reference to the fact that the petitioner already has custody of what he is asking for.
Yes. So it says that that's what it says. Use the word. It doesn't warrant the demand for that because already the carbon copy. And if my memory will serve me right, he cited Article 166 of 1975 NRCD that having a carbon copy is as good as the original, and therefore.
But again, when the Chief Justice was reading out the ruling on this very particular matter, he also did indicate that. But in cases where the authenticity of the copy is in question, then you can demand for the originals. In this case, where the petitioner's lawyers not doubting the authenticity of the copies, and that's why probably they were insisting to see the originals.
Yeah, that is a law for you. If you remember, the Chief Justice indicated when reading the ruling, said that look, from the polling station right down to where the collation was done, he had access to all these things, and so he is looking forward to something as a counsel for the petitioner. That is his aim. He has something behind at the back of his mind he wants to pursue. So it is within his remit to come to court and insist. So it's up to the opponent to also stand on their grounds to argue their case. And then the judges sitting there as arbiters will go into their chambers and look at both sides of the argument and then align it with the law and come out with their decision as they've done now. So every one of them has full knowledge of what is there, but it is how you're able to put out your argument and buttress with certain fact or laws to support the argument, and then they go on.
So the decision was arrived at, and none of the parties, particularly the petitioner, did not give any reservations about that decision, but went on to talk about other matters that have led to the judges going back into chambers with the lead counsels. What issue did Mr. Chatuchikata raise after the decision was arrived at?
He indicated that there's an issue that needs to be looked at, but it must be done in camera. That is not within the public space. So it's pleading that they go into chambers and consider. And then more so, he spoke a little bit about the health condition of someone that we are not certain of. And so that is how come I believe that they have gone to their chambers. So we're waiting for them. Because interestingly, this issue about application for inspection of documents, motion for them, it took more than an hour when they went to recess. And so it's been a very long day, because ideally we're expecting that the EC chairperson will be in the box today. But this is how the law is. As we go on, things come up. There's always development along the way. So it makes it interesting.
Exactly, it makes it interesting. And so this is just by way of summarizing for you what has been happening in court today, but also to break down the issues for those of our viewers who have little understanding of what the legal jargons are and what the legal systems and how they operate. So again, just to summarize it for you, the motion that was applied for by the lawyers for the petitioner, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, former president of Ghana, for the court to allow them to inspect some documents by the EC, has been again dismissed by the court. And the court's one of the main reasons the court assigned for the decision was the fact that those documents are already in the possession of the petitioner in terms of the copies, and that until or that the petitioner did not satisfy the court that those documents that are in its possession are not authentic enough, and basically that's what has happened in the court. But even as we speak, the court is meeting the legal counsels in chambers over a matter that we have yet to confirm exactly what it is, because it's in chambers. As soon as we get the details also, we will let you have it. We'll go back to the studio where our experts are standing by to continue breaking down the issues even further for your understanding.
Our next lesson, play it with and yesterday, see you. Send a visit to the door.
Hey, good papa.
Ganabam, if your what apostle, your waist, all your body, you make bazaar.
Thank you so much.
That everyone is a potential victim, but the good news is that everyone is a potential solution. Sensitize the masses to sanitize, keep a social distance and quarantine. Stop!
The coronavirus is sweeping over mankind.
Everybody must be alert. It's a global pandemic we can never take for granted. Kila mtu must be alert. It's a matter of life we can never take for granted. Discipline and personal hygiene, and make sure you regularly wash your hands. Keep a distance from everyone. Report anything like a symptom. Serious fever is a symptom. Dry cough is a symptom. Walkway tamula is a symptom. Itchy eyes and flu is a symptom.
Kumo butabusiga twetemu batanalwala ulaga omwoyo gwe gwanga labira